Hey man, what's up, y'all? It's your boy Willie Nunnery Jr. with CW Property Solutions, and I'm back with another video. Now I know y'all looking at the boy, y'all looking like, man, what the hell is all this wrong? All right, a lot of people be coming up to me and they be looking at property, be underwriting property and everything, and they don't know what the hell they looking at as far as how to identify expenses. Like what's an expense, what's not an expense, what do you count as expenses? You know, they're just looking at a paper with numbers on it, you know. So this is a couple of items. This is not everything, you know, and every property is different, especially bigger ones, you know, it's gonna be more expenses. So, but this is just a quick rundown on what I could think off the top of my head as far as what you want to look for as far as looking for expenses when you're looking at a profit and loss statement. When you're talking to a seller, you look at a profit and loss statement, you want to see all of his expenses. You want to look at the electrical. Now, when you look at the electric, you want to look at it. It might give you two different bills, you know, because there's a main electric for the whole building. Like, you know, when you walk across an apartment building, you see those lights on the outside of the building, you know, those lights on the outside of the building, those lights that's in the parking lot. Those are ran off separate meters from the units. You know what I'm saying? So you want to look at the electric as far as the general electrical around the general building, and then say that they have a 10% vacancy or 15% vacancy, like you got a couple units vacant, like about 4 or 5 units vacant, you know, generally speaking, that electric is going to be in that property name. So when those units go vacant, then the tenant, the owner, has to pay those electric bills. So when you see that electric bill fluctuate from the general maintenance and from electric bill from around the apartments, when you see that it fluctuate, it might be this amount, it might be that amount. Check the occupancy, because he might have some units empty that month, and he might have some people that was in the process of moving in. So don't be alarmed by that. Same thing with the water. The water, you have a water meter for the building, the whole building itself, and usually depending on the size of the building and depending on the type of the building, you know, usually the owner pays for the water. But some of them do and some of them don't. Some of them pay for the water and then they go through a RUBS program and then reimburse all the tenants the bills, you know, like this divided by all the tenants. Like say you got an apartment building with 20 units and your water bill is $1,000 a month. Then the owner would take that $1,000, he'll pay it up front, but then he would distributed throughout the 20 tenants, you know. So but that's usually the expense that the owner takes up. Then you have landscaping, you got carpet cleaning, you got carpet replacement, you got security, because you know you need security on the property. You got bug exterminator, you know, people move out, they have roaches and rats and all that mess. You got to clean up the property and everything, spray it down for bugs and all that stuff. You got a cleaning service, you know, usually you're going to pay somebody to clean that property. You know, you ain't about to just, you know, not too many owners are gonna go and clean out their own property when the tenant moves out. So they're gonna pay somebody. So that's gonna be a cleaning service. You got eviction costs. It costs money to evict people. You know, thank the Lord I'm in a landlord-friendly state. I'm in Louisiana. I'm not in California, New York. That's a whole different conversation, though. We'll make a whole nother video about that later on. You have office supplies, you got property management fee, you got fixing or replacing broken windows, you got cleaning the swimming pool, some properties might have a swimming pool, you have taxes and insurance. Notice I got taxes and insurance circled because a lot of people sleep on taxes and insurance. They don't count that as general maintenance, but you need to do. You have to count that as general maintenance, taxes and insurance. You know, you have trash, you have air conditioners, you know, you got to replace the air conditioning filters, you know, you might have to replace the air conditioner every once in a while, you know, you have plumbing, people clog up your toilets, you get backed up, you know, your plumber got to come out, it's an expense. You have locks and keys. When people move out, You put people out or people move out, you gotta change the locks and the keys for the new tenants. Those are all general maintenance. You add all those up, you add everything, all these, everything I just named you is gonna have a line item and it's gonna have a price. You're gonna add all those up, and that's gonna give you the price, that's gonna give you the number, and that's gonna be the price what it costs to operate that building on a month-to-month basis. Once you add all those things up. Now on the other side, we have capital expenses, or called CapEx. Okay, capital expenses are when you're going to replace the whole roof of the building. Like, this is stuff that don't happen on a month-to-month basis or a day-to-day basis. See, general expenses are something that this is what it costs. General expenses are stuff that what it costs to generally cost. I'm getting tongue-tied. General expenses are what it costs to operate the building on a month-to-month basis. Capital expenses are something that you're going to pay for every once in a while. You know, this is not something you're going to pay for every month. Like, for example, replacing a roof, replacing a plumbing, or fixing a plumbing for the whole property. That's not something you're going to do every month. You're not going to replace the roof every month. You're not going to fix plumbing for the whole property every month. You might fix plumbing in 1 or 2 units, but not the whole damn building. You know, gut out units down to the studs. You might do that every once in a while. You know, really shouldn't have to do it at all, really, unless you have a fire or a hurricane or something like that. But, you know, in capital expenses, you're going to gut out a unit down to the studs. It might have to come down to that, so we have to gut some units out down to the studs. Okay, replacing the HVAC. You know, like I say, you might have to replace 1 or 2 air conditioners here and there, but you have to replace the whole HVAC throughout the whole building. That's a capital expense. That's a capital expense, okay? Fix or replace broken windows for the whole property, all right? Think about it. It's gonna cost you, to replace a window, it's gonna cost you $125. But you in a building that has well over 1,000 windows. That's a capital expense. You're not going to replace every window in every building every month. So this is just an idea of what it is to have general expenses and have capital expenses. So when you're looking at profit and loss statements, these are some of the things that you want to look for. Electric, water, landscaping, trash, security, so on and so on. Capital expenses, 2 different things. So this is what I look for when I look for a profit and loss statement. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe to the YouTube channel, guys.